So today we're going to dive into a force that's kind of hidden but shapes almost everything we do online: the ethics of data science. It's all about the information we share every single day, who actually gets to use it, and what rules they should be playing by. Yeah, it's a pretty intense question, right? But it's one we all need to be asking ourselves. Every time you click, you search, you like something, you're basically leaving a digital breadcrumb trail. The real question is, who's following that trail, and what are they doing with what they find? And believe me, the stakes have never been higher. We're about to jump into the just mind-boggling amount of data we're all creating, and why handling it ethically has become one of the biggest challenges of our time. And what's so wild is how normal all of this is. Data collection isn't some secret cloak and dagger operation. Nope. It's baked right into our daily lives, from the apps on our phones to the websites we browse. It's happening constantly, all around us. And that really gets to the heart of the matter. Data itself isn't good or bad. It's just data. But how it's used, that can be a whole different story. Without a strong ethical compass, this massive ocean of information can lead to some seriously unfair outcomes, everything from biased hiring to major privacy violations. Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we need to break down two really important ideas: ethics and privacy. They're definitely connected, but they are not the same thing. Here's an easy way to think about it. Picture data ethics as the big picture moral question. It asks, even if we can do this, should we? It's all about fairness and not causing harm. Data privacy, on the other hand, is all about your rights. It's your power to control your own information. It's the can we do this legally question, which is all about consent and rules. All right, so we've got the definitions down. Now let's look at what happens in the real world when these principles are completely ignored. And these aren't just theories. These are real, pivotal moments that totally changed how we think about data. Our first example is a textbook case of good intentions going horribly wrong. Amazon tried to make hiring easier by building an AI tool to screen resumes. Sounds smart, right? Well, so where did it all go off the rails? The AI was trained on 10 years of Amazon's own hiring data. But here's the problem. That data came from a tech industry that was, mostly men. The machine just learned that pattern and started dinging any resume that had the word women's in it, like captain of the women's chess club. The result? A system that was straight up discriminating against women. And this is a huge takeaway. The AI wasn't evil. It was just a perfect mirror, reflecting the biased data we fed it. It's such a powerful reminder that data is never truly neutral. It always carries the biases of the world it comes from. Okay, our second case moves from hidden bias to a massive public breach of privacy and trust: the Cambridge Analytica scandal with Facebook. That was a wake-up call for the entire planet. What's so important to see here is the domino effect. The scandal, where people's personal data was scraped without their permission for political ads, caused a huge public outcry. And that pressure directly led to groundbreaking laws like Europe's GDPR. And we're still seeing that ripple effect today with new laws like India's DPDP Act. It just goes to show you, major screw-ups often lead to major reforms. So after seeing these absolute disasters, it's pretty obvious we need some solutions, right? In response, the world of data science has started building what you could call an ethical playbook, a set of principles and tools to build safer, better systems. First up, fairness. This is the direct answer to that whole Amazon mess we just talked about. It means you have to actively design and test your systems to make sure they aren't just making existing social biases even worse. You have to ask the hard questions about your data before you even start building anything. Next up, transparency. People sometimes call this explainable AI. It's basically the opposite of a black box system, where an answer just pops out with no explanation. If an algorithm turns you down for a loan, transparency means you have a right to know why, to understand the factors that led to that decision. It's all about building trust. And that leads us right to accountability. Look, a company can't just unleash an algorithm on the world and then wash its hands of what happens next. No way. They are responsible for how it behaves out in the wild. That means they have to be watching for problems and have a plan to fix things when they go wrong. The buck has to stop somewhere, right? So beyond these big ideas, what are the actual tools in the toolbox? Well, there's data anonymization, which is just stripping out stuff like names and addresses. Encryption is a big one, scrambling data so it's gibberish to anyone who isn't supposed to see it.
And then you've got this really cool technique called differential privacy, used by companies like Apple and Google. They add just a tiny bit of random noise to the data. It's enough to protect any one person's identity, but the data set as a whole stays useful for analysis. It's pretty clever.
So, if you put it all together, what does a good game plan look like? Well, it starts with getting real consent. No tricky language, no surprises. It means only collecting the data you absolutely need and nothing more. And it's not a one-and-done thing. It's about constantly running audits for bias, staying on top of new privacy laws. It's a real, ongoing commitment. All right, let's bring it all home and talk about the big picture here. Why does any of this matter so much? Because these ideas aren't just for tech people. They're about designing the kind of digital world we all actually want to live in. I mean, at the end of the day, the why behind all this is crystal clear. For businesses, doing this right builds trust with users, which is priceless. And yeah, it also helps them avoid huge fines. But for the rest of us, it's about stopping that kind of discrimination we saw earlier, before it even starts. When it's done right, everybody wins. And that's really the main thing to remember here. This isn't just about following the rules or checking a box to stay out of trouble. This is about laying a strong foundation for the future of artificial intelligence, so we can build systems that are responsible, trustworthy, and actually help people. So I want to leave you with one last big question to think about. As our technology gets smarter and smarter, whose job is it to teach it how to be good, how to be fair, how to be just? The answer, I think, is all of us. Thanks for joining me.